And this is the lesson number 3. On the screen, you can also see classroom.google.com. You can, I think you will be uploading these all videos on that classroom. And there are a lot of other classes that were done in the past could be looked at on that particular classroom website. So please keep posting your comments, suggestions, questions as they occur to you so that we can discuss those to a larger audience. I can also go over there, the classroom website, and try to answer those questions. So let's continue this journey. This is and the next slide, please. The brief syllabus. Can you see that next slide? Hello?
Yeah, we
Yes,
can
we
see
can.
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, please. Okay, thank you. This is the brief syllabus we have designed to address these fundamental and most important issues that the India is facing. And this time, I'm going to look at what we call the India that is Bharat. Next slide, please. India that is Bharat, a civilizational dilemma. We are going to look at this concept idea which is found in the preamble of the Indian Constitution. India that is Bharat. We are going to decode this. And let's look at what really we understand or try to understand what it meant. It was never really defined in the original constitutions. Next slide, please. So how to define and characterize the Bharat Rashtra? Different criteria can be used. One of them is geographical criteria. Normally, when you define the nationhood, which was really became dominant in the last century during First World War, after First World War, and after Second World War, when new boundaries were drawn in the world, defining different countries, which was geographical combined with what you call ethnical as well as linguistic criteria. When we try to define, characterize Bharat Rashtra, one of the definition start from the geographical configuration. And this starts with the Prithvi Loka, which is very much the very important hymn of Atharvaved 12.1 called Prithvi Sukta. In Vishnu Puran is also defined as north of Great Ocean and to the south of Himalaya is the land of Bharatvarsh, where the descendants of Bharat live. Vishnu Puran. It's also defined Jambu Deepe Bharat Khande. All the pujas are done, they are done with the geographical and time coordinate system, where you will hear that the Jambu Deepe Bharat Khande. The also not a one-dimensional but many-dimensional criteria could be used to define the Bharat Rashtra. which has been done, scattered information in many scriptures. This also defined as a Bharatvarsh or simply Bharat, or also, next slide please. You can see here the Greater India. The map of Greater India is around 112 AD. Look at the map. Very, very big geographical configuration, including many lands towards the east, towards the north, towards the west. This is the Brahat Bharat. And as we know today, slowly and slowly, we have been shrinking down to the current geographical boundaries of India. Next slide, please. You can see the picture here, the front of a recent book published in 2018. It's a very long book. It's about more than 1,000 pages by distinguished historian, British historian John Kay, called India a History. And I'm making quotations from that particular book. It's a eye-opening. Very many historical books have come out recently from Indian authors, as well as from non-Indian authors on the history of India. And they paint a picture which is so wonderful, unique. The clearly Harappan settlements were not just India's first cities and townships, but its first, indeed the world's first planned cities and townships. Very, very important. World's first city, planned cities and townships. Historically, it was Europe, not India. Not India, but Europe, which consistently made religious ground for war and a state an instrument of persecution. So it was the Europe which started the religious wars and the instrument of persecution of many people of the world. This is the John Kay. Next slide, please. Here is a iconographic picture representing Bharat. This is the Khajuraho temple. Those who have minimal understanding about the civilizational iconic configurations of the Bharat, they will never be able to understand what these representations are. Concretely build these temples for thousands of years, and they have embedded multiple dimensions: the architectural configuration, the mathematical geometrical configurations. They have the manufacturing technology. How could they build such elegant, very complex, meticulous monuments, the temples? They have their built-in mathematical, geometrical configurations and the meaning and purpose behind them. I will not be discussing this today here, but I have indicated in my previous lectures and talked about it, especially not only temples but also Khajuraho temple, where if you look at the temple outer surface, outer world of temple, before you enter into the inner chambers and Garbhagriha, you will find lot of figurine, lot of semi-nude and nude pictures. Itself is a wonderful phenomena how the ancients have understood the bhogavritti and going towards the interior garbhagriha to achieve the yoga vritti. So from the bhoga vritti in the external world and moving towards yoga vritti of internal world. We will not dwell upon this idea here. I've been defining these and characterizing for last 30 years or so in different talks. May I have next slide, please? Sacred Prakriti, the beauty, wonder, and mystery of the existence. Look at these two pictures. They are so beautiful, wonderful, and they are hiding the mystery of existence. And that's why the entire existence is considered to be manifestation of divinity in concrete terms, in the phenomenological world, in existential world, hiding behind all other mysteries of the divine world. Adhyatmic, three worlds, three realms can be characterized to look at, understand, think about it, digest. These are the Adibhautik realms, Adhyatmic realms, Adidevik realms. These Adibhautik realms hide behind at the deeper level of reality, Adhyatmic realms and Adidevik realms. That's why the entire existence is considered to be sacred, pavitra, and it has to be, and we have the Bharat has picked up different representative from different entities of the existence to offer the prayers. Through prayers we interconnect that original relationship, original dependence, original connectivity. Prithvi, defined as Matribhumi. Some identification here. Prithvi is earth plus human world plus natural world. Bhulok is a planet. Vishwa, vastness. These are the synonyms of the Prithvi. Jagat, perpetual motion and dynamic change. Sansar, place of cyclic change, birth, death, and rebirth. Karm Bhumi, a place to live and perform activities. Martylok, a planet where Death is certain, my dear listeners. In many, many more, you may be surprised. There are 20 to 40 synonyms of the Prithvi itself entity. And they are really the word synonymous. Synonyms is not the correct word at all. I will not go into it. This really relates how come you define an Prithvi, where in the Western identification is defined as Earth, planet, and world. Bharati Rishi have defined in a lot many ways. Ekam Sat. Sat is a Prithvi existence, existential entity. Bahudha Badanti, through many, many dimensions which are mind-boggling. Please keep in mind this is a brief digression or expansion of the idea that I sometimes bring in during my talks. Next slide, please. Second is glory of Mother Earth. We are of the earth and earthly, but the earth is not simply nature. It is not merely geographical or material. She is a part of us and we are part of her. No life can originate and be sustained without its existence. She is the great mother protected by gods, conveyor of Agni, universal fire, and the place where we can offer our ritual yajna. She is finally a cosmic giant, a cosmic power, a receiver of prayers and bestower of blessings. She is living mother, Matra Bhumi, protector, insectable judge. Ecology was a sacred science for Vedic man. Ecology is a new field that has been in vogue for last few years, end of the last century. Here, ancient times, the Kali was a sacred science for Vedic men. Next slide, please. This is Atharvaved 12:1. Human to Mother Earth, Prithvi, Bhumi. High truth, unyielding order, consecration, ardor and prayer, and holy ritual. Uphold the earth, may see the ruling mistress of what has been and what will come to be. For our stress wide a limitless domain. Bhumi Sukta, Atharvaved. You in your sturdy strength hold fast the forest, clamping the trees all firmly on the ground, when rains and lightning issue from your clouds. Rigved, Prithvi, Mahima. Next slide, please. The next categorization dimension is the Sanatan Dharma-Kshetra. Here is, I'm sketching out a big picture. Many of us may not be even familiar with this kind of a configuration or diagram, pictorial diagram, which is the foundational background for the Vedic wisdom tradition in entirety. Sanatan, the big circle here you see here, is the Sanatan Yogadharma-Kshetra. It has 5 subsets 5 kshetras, 5 fields. One is called Adhyatmik, Yogadharma, Jnana, Vijnana, Kshetra. Each of these fields have their own unfolding on many dimensions, and each of these fields can be represented as a tree, a fig tree with many branches, which I'm not going to do here. I have looked at those and talked about in these platforms, so you can go back and look at my other lectures. I have given probably more than 150 lectures on these various aspects, and a lot of those YouTubes are available with the PowerPoint presentation. Next field is आदिभौतिक योग धर्म ज्ञान विज्ञान क्षेत्र, आदिदैविक योग धर्म ज्ञान विज्ञान क्षेत्र, आदि यज्ञिक योग धर्म ज्ञान विज्ञान क्षेत्र. Then there is another one that you can see, the black circle. It's called Adharma Agyan Kshetra. All are together within the Sanatan Yog Dharma Gyan Vigyan Kshetra. Also notice the interconnectivity, interdependence, and interrelatedness of all the fields, material world and the Padarth Vigyan from Vaisesik Darshan, which is called Adibhautik Kshetra, embedded with consciousness, Chetana. This is the big picture. Can I have next slide, please? Let me briefly characterize or define these kshetras. Adidevik Yog Dharma Gyan Vigyan Kshetra. Each term that I have designed and spelled out over here has polymorphous meaning, many dimensions. Adidevik, Yoga Dharma, Gyan, Vigyan, and Kshetra. Each term itself is a multidimensional term, polymorphous. It takes different shapes and sizes and semantic values and meanings as you unfold them, bring them different context, different sandarbh, different viewpoint. This is the Devata Devi Kshetra within ourselves as well as within all the living entities, as the source of consciousness and cognitive emotional centers. This is Adidevic field. Also, Devata Devi Kshetra outside of living and non-living entities. Inside of the living and non-living entities, outside of the non-living and living entities. That's a very fundamental idea that one has to keep in mind when you're talking about the Western Greek tradition of the divinity. Gods and goddesses in Greek tradition, they were out of living entities. They were outside of human personalities or any living beings. They were not inside us. Keep in mind. And that makes a fundamental difference in clarifying the Hindu worldview or Vedic worldview, distinguish it fundamentally from the other worldviews that exist today or in ancient times. सेकंड, आध्यात्मिक योग धर्म ज्ञान विज्ञान क्षेत्र, अंतःकरण क्षेत्र, मनस बुद्धि अहंकार चित्त और चेतना, all कर्मेंद्रियां, all ज्ञानेन्द्रियां, they are part of what I call the आध्यात्मिक योग धर्म क्षेत्र, including जीवात्मा. Then you have आदिभौतिक योग धर्म ज्ञान विज्ञान क्षेत्र, ग्रॉस शरीर, फिजिकल बायोलॉजिकल बॉडी, सूक्ष्म शरीर, genetic molecular level, causal शरीर, entire material world. This is the आदिभौतिक क्षेत्र. Then we have आध्यात्मिक योग धर्म ज्ञान विज्ञान क्षेत्र. The very existence and the world are the manifestation of divine yagna. The next category comes out to be cultural and sanskritic kshetra. And there's a difference, fundamental difference between term cultural and sanskritic. Next slide, please. Yagna is the central image and act of the Vedic world. You can see here. This is the beginning of the existence, the Srishti, where this picture depicts lot of dimensions. It depicts all the three realms, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik, Adi Devik, and Adhyagnik. Yagna. All are here. I had to probably give a month of lectures simply talking about this picture, explaining. It's so wonderful, so beautiful. Let me give you a little flavor of the beauty. Next slide, please. The Vedic mantra, the very first mantra of Rig Veda. Agnimile purohitam yajnasya devam svajam hotaram ratnadhatumam. I sing lauds to Agni, prayers to Agni, the Purohit, priest, Devata, the chanter, Hotra, the Ritvij, performer, who brings all wealth and blessing. My goodness, what is going on here? Let me decode it briefly without elaboration. Agni as a Devata, Purohit, Hotra, Ritvij, all in one yogic personality. It has this mantra itself has what we call the totality. Agni as a Devata. So Agni as a Devata, Agni as a Purohit, as a priest as well. Agni is also chanter. Agni is also performer. All is being done by Agni, for the Agni, by the Agni, within the Agni. Can you believe that? Then this is the Gayatri mantra. 24 matras. It's a concept of measure, Ganesh Shastra and Chanda Shastra. All embedded together. Time is a continuous containing peaks and valleys. The very pronunciation contains the time sequence, time domain, where you go up and down, where you go peaks and valleys. Sangeet, music and sound vibrations, built in. Language structure, Bach. That's why Bhakti Namo Namaha. Ratna, all kinds of wealth, including Vidya. All this together in this month. This is a call in contemporary computer language. I can call it as a compressed file. This mantra is a compressed file where you can expand it in many dimensions, all in one. This all the things that we are talking about here, my dear listeners, are very unique in the Vedic worldview. Whatever you hear through YouTubers, through all kinds of communication channels, either they give you a false picture, a jnana andhakara, or they give you a partial picture only. Here you are going to see unfoldment of many dimensions in very, very brief way. Next slide, please. The fire sacrifice yagna became the essential instrument of men's participation in the cosmic sacrifice, cosmic yagna. The Vedic ritual aimed at resembling more and more perfectly the very ritual through which the universe exists. So this is the kind of interconnectivity, interrelationship, interdependence of performing this yagna and correlating simultaneously with the entire existence. Those who simply ignore and ridicule the entire ritual world of the Vedic rishis, they are, I call them, in deep darkness, or I will call them to indicate that their stupidity. Let's look at the next sacred object, glorious mother cow. Most glorious sacred mother cow, brief exploration. I have done even extended exploration of this idea and many dimensions in the past lectures. Please note, one of the most misunderstood, misrepresented, abusive, and slaughtered entity in the contemporary Sanatan Dharma hating world, it still continues within what I call India. That's why India, that is Bharat. No, I will call it Bharat, that has become India. I'll also give you an idea, consequences of killing cow, what it means. Please, next slide, please. Rigved, sing the prayers to the mother cow, the mother of the cosmic powers. Look at the language. Each and every term here, though is not very precise because here we are translating into English, the very best that can be done. The mother of cosmic powers, daughter of the beings of light, sister of the sun gods, and navel center of truth, Satyam. I speak to those who are aware, do not harm the cow, the mother earth. Cow is also mother earth. Next slide, please. Prithvi as the cow, with all other devtas, goes to offer her prayers to Bhagavan Vishnu to descend on earth. So, cow, the mother earth, takes the form of cow to offer prayers to Bhagavan Vishnu. So, earth is also represented as a cow. Next slide, please. So, without going further, it becomes digression here of the topic that we are talking about. Here we're talking about the sacredness. Killing of the cows includes the following meanings, following aspect: killing the life forces, killing the principle of ahimsa, killing the pursarth, killing the field of rita, sanatan dharma, killing the most gentle, most loving, most giving creature, killing all the social relations, and finally, destruction of the Vedic world. The cows are sacred and they bring well-being to all. All the worlds are situated in cows. Cow is a manifestation of whatever there is sacred, and the entire Vedic corpus is built in, it's situated in within this concrete living entity called the cow. Next slide, please. Look by comparison. The founders of Rome, Romulus and Remus, they get their nourishment from the wolf. This is the picture, 500 BCE, a bronze masterpiece. We take the Bharati, the Bharat takes nourishment from the mother cow, mother earth. They take nourishment from a wolf. See the difference between the Western ways of looking at the existence and compare with the Vedic ways of looking at the existence. Next slide, please. Let's look at what do you mean by Rashtra, Bharat Rashtra. Rajate tat Rashtram. An existential entity that is glorious in all the dimensions called Rashtra. Rajate means is glorious in all dimensions. That existential entity is called the Rashtra. The many dimensions appear originally in all the four Vedas, and they are followed through identifications, expansion, interpretations, as well as practical guidelines in an immensely large body of literature that include Purana, Mahabharata, Ramayana, 18 primary Smriti, Niti Sat, as well as many statecraft manuals throughout the history of Bharat, Bharat, for more than 5,000 years. Example: individual is also called a Rashtra, individual entity. Prithvi is also called the Rashtra. That's why we call Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Antariksh is also called Rashtra, Bhurhuva Swaha. Celestial world, Swaha, is also called Rashtra. Triloka, yogic integration of Bhurhuva Swaha. Om Bhurhuva Swaha Tatsavituruvaredyam Bhargo. This is also entity called Rashtra. Next slide, please. This is the thematic foundational Chintan. Do not, each one is a compressed file. Rashtra and civilization, birth of Rashtra, stability of Rashtra, death of a Rashtra, and potential rebirth after its death. These processes are part of the idea of Bharata Rashtra. Birth of Bharat Rashtra civilization, primary requirements are it has a foundation, Prithvi Sukta, divine beings and rishis, sun, planets, atmosphere, Akash, Vayu, Agni, water, earth, primary tattvas, natural world, living and non-living, human beings, language or languages, Shastra, Sanskriti, Samaj, Raj, Praja, Rajdharm, Rajniti, etc. All these combined together as a yogic entity is called the Bharata Rashtra and its civilization. Next slide, please. Where the Bharat, the term Bharat or Bharat, this is Stota Vishwamitra offers protection of people born in Bharat family lineage. Bharat, Sab clan to Puru, Rig Veda. Adi Parva Mahabharat, descendant of Swayambhu Manu, Bharat Muni, author of Nat Shastra. Bharat, descendant of Bharat, the land they inhabit. Bharat, Agni, name of Arjun, Jad Bharat, Bhagavad Puran, Nat Shastra. An actor is also called Bharat. Bharat is also called emotions, melodies, or rhythm from dance, drama, and music. So the Bharat and Bharat, these two highly loaded technical terms, pervade so many fields of human experiences. Very, very important to realize. Yes, please. Next slide, please. Bharat King, most illustrious, iconic personality upholding the principles of Rasdharm, Rajdharm, Rajniti Kshetra, representing a enlightened civilizations. I'm summarizing here whatever I have talked about. The multidimensional, highly loaded, polymorphous words Bharat. Polymorphous means Bahrupiya. It takes many forms and shapes and sizes and attributes, characteristics, properties. Bharat pervades the entire Vedic wisdom and Sanatan Dharmic scriptures and Shastras. Other names suggested and discussed are Bharatvarsh and Hindustan. Also, suggestion came to use Bharat, that is India, rather than India, that is Bharat. Two, these formulations were discussed during the constitutional proceedings, deliberations, different suggestions. One suggestion came, Bharat, that is India, that's how it should be said, rather than India, that is Bharat. Which one will you choose and why? It's a long discussion went on by learned persons framing the constitution of India, that is Bharat. After extensive deliberation, arguments, counter-arguments, Dr. Ambedkar's amendment, India, that is Bharat, was adopted in Article 1 of the Constitution. As I go along, I will be commenting on that, which one is a better representation of the current India. Is it Bharat that is India, or is it India that is Bharat? I call it Bharat that has been transformed into India by bringing in, borrowing in, grafting in the constitution from rest of the world without having any significant input from the Bharati tradition for last 5,000 years. Next slide, please. Where did the word India come from? This is the, again, lot of, you'll find out on Googles here and there, you will find out lot of this information. So I have given you some information from here. The term India derives successively with Hellenistic Greek India, ancient Greek Indos, Old Persian Hindus. Ultimately is cognate Sanskrit Sindhu River, specifically Indus River, and by extension is well settled southern basin. The English term is from Greek indice. Megasthenes has written about indica, of India, by a Latin transliteration India. The name derives from Sanskrit Sindhu, which was the name of Indus River, as well as Lower Indus Basin, modern Sindh in Pakistan. The above identification is only geographical. Next slide, please. Hindu and Hinduism, based on the information that I have searched through vast body of literature from different authentic sources, I have come up with this. Nathaniel Brassey Halhat, 1776, he wrote a code called a Code of Gentoo Laws, was gradually supplanted in the 19th century by the reference to religion of Hindus. Hindoos. Hinduism, Oxford English Dictionary 1829, referenced in the Bengali volume 45, also by Max Muller 1858, when the Hinduism was introduced. Dermot Killingly, according to him, reference to Ram Mohan Roy in 1816. Mr. Roy was probably the first Hindu to use word Hinduism. Ram Mohan Roy. One hardly need mention the extent to which Roy's conception of Hindu religion was conditioned by European, Muslim, and Unitarian theological references. Ironically, there is a considerable reason, therefore, for the frequency with which Western scholars have described Roy as the father of modern India. And Roy I consider to be a crypto-Christian.
Join the meeting.
Can I have next slide, please? Neo-Vedantists, with due respect to these learned personalities, I have my own critique of their ideas, some of their ideas. In an ancient context, Western influenced Neo-Vedanta of Indians such as Ram Mohan Roy, Mahatma Gandhi, Vivekananda, Aurobindo, Radhakrishnan has played a seminal role in construction of the contemporary notions of Hinduism as a universal religion. This influence is so prevalent that today that most religious education courses mean by Hinduism is a colonially filtered and retrospective Vedanticization of Indian religion. Richard King, this is a reference from Richard King, who has written a very, very wonderful book. You can consult it. He was at Oxford, Dr. Richard King. A critical suggestion, look at the Swami Vivekananda Advait Ashram work. Salvation of Europe depends on a rationalistic religion. Advait non-duality, the oneness idea of the impersonal God, is the only religion that can have any hold on intellectual people. Next slide, please. My comments. Can you reconcile the foundational Hindu worldviews manifesting through the Hindu mandirs, mathas, shrines, and that of the entire world of worship of deities through Bhakti Yoga with the idea of impersonal God as the ultimate reality? That is being claimed by many of these so-called Neo-Vedantists. And I simply do not agree with them. Can teachings of primary Vedantic scriptures such as Vedanta Sutra, Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam support the idea of impersonal God as the ultimate reality? No. Other prominent school of Vedantic world including its principal scriptures that conflict with the notion of ultimate reality as the impersonal God, have been ignored completely in this neo-Vedantic movement, run by only few of them, teaching through English, in English, for the English-speaking Indians and the rest of the world. So that's what Bharat has become, India. Next slide, please. Just to remind, secular synonyms are the civil, materialistic, worldly, lay, material, even profane world, profanity world of nudity and profanity also is a secular world. Temporal, earthly, and there's a complete and rigid separation between religions and worldly affairs. Next slide, please. Recent example of India's legal secularism. Hindu Post, August 2, 2025. Hindu-phobic judiciary weird ruling. Karnataka High Court find nothing wrong in Muslim preaching Islam in mandirs. Can High Court allow teaching Hindu Dharma in masjid? No. This is the expression of a principle of secularism. This is the Indian secularism. What a tragedy. Indian secularism has become almost synonymous with Hindu hating, Vedic wisdom hating all aspect, has become a new incarnation of secularism. Next slide, please. Here is the unique Sanskrit pair of Bharata Rashtra, Shanti Mantra. Dyo Shanti, Antariksh Shanti, Prithvi Shanti, Apa Shanti, Ausadhiya Shanti, Vanaspatiya Shanti, Vishwadeva Shanti, Brahma Shanti, Sarvam Shanti, Shanti Eva Shanti, Samanidhi Shanti Di. Let there will be peace in the celestial world. Let there be peace in the world supporting earth. Let there be peace, Mother Earth. Let there be peace on waters on earth. Let there be peace on medicinal herbs. Let there be peacefulness in the plants and vegetables. Let the peacefulness in all the Vishwadevas. Let be peacefulness in all others. Brahma Santi. Let be peacefulness all the existence, and also sacred Santi within me. This is the Bharat Rashtra, not India, where the field of sacredness pervades the divine world, human world, living world, natural world, as well as material world. We offer prayers to the entire existence. This is what you call the concept of sacredness, pavitrata, the foundational aspects of the Vedic wisdom tradition, which is what you call the Bharata Rashtra is about, not artificial. Now, many distinguished thinkers from the West, whether you are talking about the hard sciences or soft sciences, they are now in very minority. They're talking about unless we see this whole existence as a sacred, we are going to continue to exploit, subjugate, destroy. My dear listener, next slide, please. That's why let us sing together. Gayanti Deva Keligita Kani Nanyas me Bharat Bhumi Bhagi Swarga Pavargas Padamarga Bhute Pavan Pursa Swaratva. So, my dear listeners, This is the real Bharat Rashtra, originated from Mahi, Aditi, Saraswati, and Bharati. In our ancient Vedic wisdom traditions. Mahi, Aditi, Saraswati, and Bharati. When we offer the prayers to Bharat Rashtra, we offer the prayers of these three goddesses. Next slide, please. Let's pray together again. Om Sahanavatu Sahanau Bhanaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahi Tejasvanavadhitamastu Ma Vidvasavahi. Om Santi Santi Santi. Let us together be protected, and let us together be nourished. Let us together join our mental force and strength for the benefit of the whole humanity. Let our efforts at learning be luminous. Voices of hatred for anyone. Let there be peace and serenity. Om Santi, Santi, Santi. Satyameva Jayate, Satyameva Jayate. With my folded hands, let us join together, let's sing together, let's dance together, let's act together. Let's make this very world in the image of ancient Bharat Mata, where we become not only interconnected, but also interrelated, interdependent with every other living or non-living entities of this world. With this note, I ask for your forgiveness if my words have become or sound some too offensive to some of you. I ask प्रियम टाइम आ गया है सत्य बोलो भले अप्रिय हो even if it is offensive, but truth has to be told. Ritam and Satyam have to be brought out up front in every domain, visible or invisible, in our personal life, family life, national life, international life, social life, in every domain of existence. This has to be brought out. With this note, I conclude my today's talk. And next session will be again very enlightening session. Next going to be
23rd,
20,
23rd,
20,
23rd,
23rd
23rd
of,
August.
yes. I hope there was a little bit glitch here, but I think uh, the person who was handling the view graphs and I was having some kind of a good coordination. I hope so. So with this note, I conclude my talk. And if you have some relevant question related to today's talk only, I would certainly entertain a couple of questions before I am supposed to getting out of this motel here from San Francisco, moving forward into another place for my journey. Thank you so much.
If anyone wants to ask question, please unmute yourself and ask.
Thank you, Shiva Garu. This is Mohan. Very eye-opening facts and information. Some of the things I'm still learning and trying to understand the core concepts of Bharat itself, and it's been very, very helpful. Thank you very much for your time and giving this to the entire population, whoever is interested on this. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind comments, your blessing. This is the blessing not only for me, this is the blessing for our Mother Bharati. Also, later on, I'm going to continue. Sometime you may have a question, related question, where we are living in America. Our children are born and brought up in America. Grandchildren are being born and all that. How do we relate to America with Bharat Mata? We will be also talking about this idea, notion, as we go along into next two lectures. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Shivji, I have a question.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you mentioned some very, deep rooted issues. One of them is this whole construction of Hinduism by Raja Ram Mohan Roy, and second is the Neo Vedanta.
yeah,
Um, in the US and I guess all over, we have many Neo Vedanta sampradayas who are legitimately probably seen as a legitimate inheritor of Vedanta. What what kind of critique would be needed for the Neo Vedanta schools to at least have some kind of a interpretive evaluation of these sampradayas?
yes. I think that's a very, very important question. And I have been thinking about for some time. Uh, Two things. Number one, Neo Vedanta concept of the Hindu wisdom, if I can call it, has serious limitations. And and this group is particularly more vocal through medium of English language worldwide. And they ignore the other branches of the Vedantic thought, which have more authentic understanding of the Vedanta Sutra, Vedas, and other scriptures dealing with this ultimate reality. There are five. Next time I'm going to look at again very authentically and very forcefully. Whenever you are talking about the Vedanta, these five different doctrines have to be talked about. And these five includes what is the ultimate reality, what is the concept of Brahman, what is the concept of Bhagavan, what is the concept of Paramatma, what is the concept of uh, the 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 Parameshwara. All these concepts, Purushottama, all these concepts have to be brought up front as they have been delineated in our wisdom traditions. Secondly, what is the constitutional position of Jivatma? And what is this visible world, existential material world, Prakriti? What different sadhanas are available and what is the ultimate purpose of existence? And what is the interrelation between these three different entities and how we see in totality? They have to be brought out from multi-dimensional perspectives. So when contemporary world, for example, some of the key thinkers are raising these questions more and more, so they are in minority though, that what is ultimately the purpose of the existence is about. Why there is existence? These questions remain unanswered from contemporary Western worldviews and also the other, Abrahamic traditions worldview or many other secondary worldviews. They have to be discussed. They have to be talked about. They have to be brought out. Unfortunately, new Vedantic, uh, they have become, new Vedantists have become more vocal in their writing through English. They have ignored really uh, the the very original thinkers which have been writing, talking, preaching in other languages of India. They have been ignored. You don't hear anybody else about, well, okay, only you hear one type of Vedantic branch, and which itself does not address fully what the Adi Shankaracharya was talking about, what Purva and Uttar, later understanding of Shankaracharya ji and earlier understanding of Shankaracharya ji. You can see if you go back to the originals of Adi Shankaracharya ji, all his writings. Later on, if you look at the, for example, not only Vivek Chudamani, but also look at the other scriptures, you will find a very, in some ideas, very drastic transformation, different understanding of the Shankaracharya's Darshan Shastra. For example, look at the Prabhu Sudhakar. So this is what the question builds upon it. Yes, we had to bring it out, and next time I'm going to be hard hitting as well on the some of the ideas of Neo Vedantis in the next lecture, because that's where the confusion came about to be, and that's why the confusion came about introducing the term Sarva Dharma Sambhav. All religions are same, identical, equal. This concept originated from Neo-Vedantic understanding and propagation of their agenda. I'm sorry to drag it
Yeah,
on.
no, no, this is wonderful. Yeah, what I asked was the mechanism. So do you think, um, see, until some established theory is challenged, both in terms of textual criticism as well as practice,
Mhm.
what would be that mechanism? I mean, of course, you dwelled upon textual criticism, but in terms of practice, what can be done to challenge the neo-Vedantic view of the world or the worldview?
Yes, I think in practice, I would one aspect that is very important. I consider to be looked at is the actual living Vidhi Vidhan rituals, actually living rituals, enriching those with multidimensional understanding, enriching those, executing those, reformulating those, rearticulating those, and then through them interconnect all the realms, Adhyatmic realm, Adidevik realm, through Adi Bhautik realms.
So could traditional, conventional Vedic karmkand, could that be the way uh,
Yes, this
to
has to be, yes, but
this has to
that
be okay?
it has to be, but not in the same uh, format. Some rearticulation, re-understanding, and what you call the reorganization has to be done there.
Understood. Understood.
To relate to the contemporary human understanding of various experiences that we go through.
I understood, because one of the notions that the neo Vedantic schools have is their opposition to the Vedic Karmakand. Like, these people are very, very even militant about discarding the Vedic Karmakand. So there must be some reason for them to oppose Vedic Karmakand.
Yes,
So in other words, the the medicine for that disease is probably the Vedic Karmakand in its, like you said, in some modified form.
that is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And what is really you really hit the nerve, the center of their new Vedantic thought is that whenever there is a concept, that's why I have drawn a black, circle, ajnana.
Hmm.
What happens when the karma itself becomes superficial, devoiding of or communicating to all hidden dimensions of the karma kind? Then
Right.
karma becomes superficial. And then it loses its purpose, its meaning, and its strength, and it's really mystery. So the new Vedantists, instead of correcting that, they say, well, let ignore it, ridicule it.
Yeah, yeah. That's one of the things that most neo-Vedantic schools is their contempt for the Brahmin or the person who is doing the pujas,
That is that is
conducting
that is
even the Satyanarayana Katha. They will
that,
have contempt towards them.
that is
So
correct.
the
That is correct.
origin
That
of
is
that
correct.
contempt is these quaint theories that they developed during the Raja Ramon time and onwards,
That is
is
correct.
is
That is
probably the root of that contempt for the
that is
Brahmin.
that
Yeah,
is correct.
understood.
That is correct. And they were encouraged to follow their own path based on what you call the input from the Christian traditions. Islamic traditions.
Or was it engineered in such a way by the British colonialists,
Yeah,
Max Muller and all onwards?
no, I think not only Maxwell was really not the upfront in that particular field, that particular
Hmm.
branch. What was important here that many of the evangelical community, those who were trying to convert the the Indian masses into the Christianity, they say, well, if we can somehow get rid of their this whole field of rituals,
Hmm.
then probably I can, have them to come to our camps. So this is
Hmm.
what the and they say, well, in order to do that, I have to influence their own so-called educated leaders so that they will listen to them more than they will listen to us.
Okay.
So this is how the internal mechanism worked. That's how internal
and
mechanism.
and that attitude is now adopted by the so-called the elites or the pseudo elites of the current Hindu society, right? Because they have the same contempt for Brahmins,
That is correct.
right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. The same has been adopted. So actually, this became so strong that they have to, in order to eliminate or in order to uh, send the Hindu tradition or the Vedic wisdom tradition to death, they must eliminate first the Brahmins.
Brahmins, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this is how they picked up the sequence. Okay, this is the steps I have to take first before I can achieve something that they have a hidden agenda about. So this is how, and they found some, you know, educated people. They were sent to, in British universities, top
Right.
universities, and they say, well, they had to be trained in that way. Of course, one of the rebellions was the, Aurobindo.
Yeah, yeah, that is true.
So they did not, they don't
That
like
that's true.
They did
Hmm.
not like him actually. He was one of the really rebellion
Hmm.
against, despite the fact, his father, when he was sent with a Christian priest or somebody, to England, his father told him, "You must never tell him where does he come from. He must be totally transformed to become an Englishman." This is what his
Right.
father told him, told the
Right.
person
Right.
to transform him. But no, he became a rebellion actually, and came back. And I think he did. I would say among all those new Vedantists, he did one of the best works in the Vedic interpretation
Yeah,
actually.
he's one of the
Yes,
original thinkers, and
that's right. One of the
yeah,
original thinkers. But he was pushed back by the so-called new Vedantists.
right.
So he was not brought enough front as visibly as others have been brought in.
Yeah, yeah. So the Vedantists thought that they could utilize Sri Aurobindo, but he did not do their bidding. Yeah. So
That is correct. That is
yeah,
correct. That is
that
that's
is
the
true.
correct statement. That's the correct statement.
Yeah. Thank you for your answer, Shivji.
Thank you. Thank
Very
you.
grateful to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello, can I ask a question?
Yes, yes.
Okay, my name is Shrikant. The first time I joined your website, I appreciated your stimulating talk and discussion. But I'm perturbed by your putting down the Neo-Vedantic uh, point of view or philosophy, which is based on Upanishads. It is a definite basis for uh, existence in the Vedic and Upanishad text. Mandukya Upanishad is the basis for Advaita philosophy.
Well,
So,
I
how
think
do we say that this is not Hinduism? Number one. Number two, Hinduism is a continuous changing religion from Vedic to Puranic to Bhakti to Neo Vedantic. So, we cannot pick and choose what we like every night. We can criticize too, but we are sowing the seeds of disunity then. We should agree on the basic principles of Hinduism, which are five of them. We can discuss them later on. But we should not disparage people for their philosophies. They can do what they want to do. I can do what I want to do. You can do what you want to do. So let's be united. The basis of Hinduism, which is shared by everybody, how you practice it is your problem, my problem. And third thing is, God is not mandir puja. There were no mandirs till 100 years before Christ. So mandir puja took later on. There were no mandirs of that scale till 500 AD. So mandir puja for Hindus is a much recent phenomenon. So let's accept the fact that Hindu is millennia to millennia. And let's be united in the basic concept of Hinduism and not divide. Sorry for being passionate about it, but I believe unity is the crux of the matter that we try to forget. Thank you. Love your comment.
I think I am sorry I could not really hear your words very distinctively. So I'm lost. I'm sorry for it. My basic points are these: unfolding of the wisdom starting from the Vedas all the way up to the current times. Yes, you can follow different paths, you can follow different branches, you can follow different thought process, you can follow different philosophies. Yes, that is perfectly valid, of doing it. The problem comes in when the new development or new ways of articulation create serious contradictions and disconnectivity with the original wisdom. Then the problem comes up. So this is where the difficulty is. Look at, I asked the question, and I will come back to explain a little bit more some of the incidents that I encountered, personal one, with some of the Neo Vedantists in next lecture. But when you look at this concept of the God, I have seen many prominent saints coming from one tradition, and they go to the temple and they actually ridicule the existence of the temple. They, they do not believe in the deity. And I asked the very same question. I said, well, okay, why did Adi Shankaracharya build these four mathas and temples and all the glories, saying the glories, all the divine entities, prayers to all the divine entities? Why did he do it if he did not believe in the existence of these divinities? They have no answer to that. They cannot answer satisfactorily. So this is where the problem comes in. Whenever there is yes, certainly, whenever you perform any ritual externally, and we do ritual from morning till we go to sleep. Sleep is also called ritual. Ritual is not really quite a good technical term. I have to define sometime. But ritual is the very much the foundation of existence. All motions, all disciplines, all Rita concept, all organized structures, they go through this process of what you call rituals. So, so there, yes, when becomes adambar, when becomes superficial, they lose its meaning, they lose its purpose. And the very scriptures talk about this. When the Murti Puja becomes irrelevant, it loses its significance and meaning. They also talk about it. But without bringing up this upfront, that yes, there has been a corruption and pollution, and in the whole process, instead of making it better, instead of making it pollution free, corruption free, we say, well, ridicule it. That's the sociological concept. I'll just forget about it. This is all nonsense. This is all ridicule. So this is where the difficulty comes in. So your question is a great question, but this is how we have to look at whether things can be, when you have a disease, when they have to be cured, or is simply when there's a disease, the object itself has to be ridiculed and thrown out and destroyed. This is where we have to find where the line is, what we are talking about.
I think we need to find a line where we can meet together, not separate, because
That is
every sampradaya, every sampradaya that we look at
that is
has a
correct.
concept of nirakar and sakar both,
That is
nirguna and
correct.
sarguna both,
That
transcendent and immanent both.
that is
So
correct.
we have the concept that we can use. Some people use murti puja, mandir puja. It's fine. Some
Yes,
people
fine.
like,
Yeah.
so I just say we don't want to. It's fine with them. So we should accept them as they are and not criticize them for their way of doing the puja or aradhana, sadhana, whatever you want to call it. So that's my point.
Yeah. Perfect. That's what. Yeah. Now. Yeah. Yeah. We are on the same page. We are on the same page. The look at this one concept related to. Let me point out what really my uh, way of thinking is, look at all the sampradayas, original, the granthas, and find out if they have included in the very prayers the prayer for Mother Bharati, prayer for Prithvi, prayer for Jal, prayer for all the existence. Have they included in their prayers or not? If they have not included, this is disjointedness. We cannot then talk about the Bharat Mata. Our consciousness does not then becomes oriented towards the Bharat Mata or Rashtra, Bharat Rashtra. If there is no prayer for the Bharat Rashtra to begin with the other prayers. Of course, you can have prayers for your gurus, great gurus, and all divinities. But if the prayer, I have not found yet in many of the sampradayas, original, granthas, that there is a beginning of the prayer for the uh, entities, divine entities manifesting in the Adivautic world. All the elements, there are no prayers for all the elements included. There are no prayers for the Prakriti included. There are no prayers for, won't we say, well, Maya, I just included my Maya Devya Namo Nama. If there is no prayers for the Maya, the Yoga Maya itself, without Maya Shakti, without Maya power, which manifested in contemporary world, we created the new contemporary world with all kinds of, new technology, new sciences, just because of the power of Maya. We simply say, well, this is all, hocus pocus. I have nothing to do. Just, this is how people have been injected with this kind of a incomplete understanding and ignorance. So my point is this: I would like to have each and every sampradaya must include prayers for the Adibhautic world, Adhyatmic world, along with Adidevic world. All three realms prayers must be included, and that really those prayers then obviously falls into the categories of Rashtra Bhakti, uh, and the Samaj Bhakti, all layers of existence then come into play in our consciousness.
I think it's a long discussion, and I think it's going to take longer time than you have and I have. But as I said, in Hinduism, we have the choice of any kind of aradhana, puja, vandana, and nityadma. Okay, so you can focus from your own personal perspective a particular kind of puja, particular kind of arti, particular kind of praise, stuti, and upasana. But it's not a universal take by every Hindu, and should not be. See what I mean? So yeah, I think we should be more open to other people's way of doing things, which is allowed by the Shastras. Okay, that's my only humble comment.
Yes, you're right. I'm on the same page. As long as, in order to find in plurality, in order to find what you call the unified approach to plurality and diversity, we had to do something else that what you have been doing. So if I'm focusing on my world, a small world, which I've taken the big Vedic world, at least
Yeah,
let the people know that I'm part and parcel of that Vedic world.
beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, this is what the connectivity, the interrelationship. And I will do only this thing. For example, if you look at the contemporary physics, I like physics, I do physics, perfect. I like chemistry, I like music, I like mathematics, perfect. But all this, how do we really look at from a bigger picture, unified picture? If that we have in our mind a bigger picture, then special pictures and subsets of those pictures can be, become your expertise. Now, if you look at the,
And I agree with you. I want to say one last thing is that there are three parts of visible religion. Rituals, symbols, and stories. We should come together on stories and wisdom and philosophy, and not fight over or quibble over the rituals and the symbols. Okay, that's my way of looking at it. That's where you find more audience for Hinduism is younger people, younger students in America as well as in India. So let's focus more on philosophy and the stories and their
yeah,
crux,
yeah,
their tattva, but not
yes,
worry about how people do rituals and what symbols they follow. See what I'm
uh,
saying?
yeah. See, the rituals have to be, looked at it and interconnected to the greater world of experiences. So this is what's very. For example, let me give you one concrete example here. I have here in front of me a glass of water. Okay, and I say, well, okay, here is a glass of water. How do I how do I connect different a glass of water sitting here in this piece of glass with a small pond, bigger pond, lake, and samudram? How do I connect them? So if I know how to connect them, then I know, oh my goodness, when I'm drinking water, I am also connected to the samudra. And samudra is connected to me. So this is how do I connect it? Through going to different scale and different tat. That's why I call the tattva. What is tattva? Tattva is water. Water is sitting in this glass. Water is sitting in the pond. Water is sitting in the bigger pond. Water is sitting in the river. Water is flowing in the, and the ocean. So this is how I can connect all different dimensions when I look at it. What is the tattva that transcend the phenomenological, boundaries that we create? And they have to be created. How do I do that? So this is where the connectivity comes in. If I am told, so if I, for example, let me give you another example. Of course, I'm taking your time. I'm so sorry about it.
No, 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 no.
I think it's a wonderful topic. Just one more minute before I uh, take your permission to go off. Uh, Look at the. I can present you a small fountain where the water is coming out, okay, goes up and then recirculates. So the recirculation takes place in that small fountain, and or and I say, well, this is a samudra. I tell you, this is samudra. You say, are you crazy? You will tell me this is not a samudra, this small pond where you have water going up, coming down, going up, coming down, and recirculating. I said, that's what the one of the concept or one of the terminology that used for samudra itself is where the circulation takes place. Things go out of the samudra and comes back into the samudra. This phenomena itself is called the samudra. So now I can see here a replica of samudra in a small pond where the fountain is doing the same thing that is done in the atmosphere.
I agree with you. We have so many words with multiple meanings. Karma
Yeah,
has six, seven,
that's right.
eight different meanings.
That's
But I
right.
try, so my I come last comment is that if I'm a Charvak, I'm still a Hindu. Okay.
Yeah,
If I'm a Mimamsa follower, I can do the Dharma Khan. If I'm Vedantic, I can do Vedanta. So I think we should have the choice, regardless of
yeah,
my preference or your preference. You know, I'm only saying because I believe that we have to agree that we all are Hindus if we believe in Atman, Jivatma, Sansara, Moksha, and Karma. Those are the five
uh-huh.
things which is basic
Yes,
to
yes,
everybody.
yes.
So the rest of the things is icing on the cake. So let's not fight on the icing on the cake.
Yeah,
Let's get everybody
actually,
together
yes,
on the five principles and say let's propagate those every place, every moment, every time we can talk to anybody.
yes, yes, yes. I think there is no, there should not be intentions of fighting with each other. It's a sort of intention of opening up those relationships which are hidden. That's what,
Understand?
that's what we should be doing. Hidden
Absolutely.
relationship must be brought out so we can
Absolutely.
really have a better communication channels.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate your time and your openness to converse with me and engage with me. I'm privileged. Privileged. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Really is the uh, your questions, sambad with me for few minutes. This has been really very inspiring to all of us. So this is
I
the way I see
appreciate
all.
your hopefully we'll talk more. Okay.
Thank
And
you
the
so
first
much.
time I came to your website,
Thank
I
you,
will
sir. Thank you very much,
welcome you
sir.
again. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Thank you.
Shivji,
Thank you so much,
I
sir.
have a very quick question. I don't know if you have some time, or not some time,
Uh-huh.
just maybe a minute.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that earlier question of the mechanism, uh, I just want to ask in general, you may want to just cover it in future lectures also. You don't have to
Uh-huh.
answer. But this neo-Vedantic view, because it has absorbed so much of colonial paradigm into it,
Uh-huh.
that like people have become numb towards their own slavery. So, for instance, some of these people will argue that they will put this either or relationship between Karm Kand and, let us say, higher darshan or philosophy. It's like they advocate that they can do calculus and abstract algebra without going through multiplication tables, algebra, and trigonometry. You see what I'm saying? So, Neo Vedantic view
Yeah.
has introduced this colonialism, and it's just I just want to elaborate, giving an example. For instance, in before 1947, there were many Indians who used to think that they can live under King George and under the British Empire. They just want some
Uh-huh.
justice and freedom, but it was okay with them, the British rule over them. So today's Neo Vedantists are the same set of people. For them, this spiritual colonialism is okay as long as they can show some Hindu unity, or my question is more towards mechanism. How do we make the slaves realize that they are slaves? What should be that mechanism? I mean, how do we make people understand that you cannot do calculus and abstract algebra without going through algebra and trigonometry?
Yes, I think that's a great question, Rajiv ji. And
Maybe we can you can look at it in a future lecture, but
yes, we can look at
this
the
has
future
been
lecture.
right.
See, I have,
Mhm.
for example, look at this thing. You have a calculator in front of you. Okay,
Right.
a simple calculator will does the plus minus, division, multiplication, and all that. And if you ask the third grader or second grader, they can do the manipulation on the using the calculator, but they may not have understood the concept of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division at all.
Right.
They may not have understood. That's what the really, situation is coming up now. A lot of thinkers, even the AI community, are talking about this. That my goodness, yes, AI give you the answer, but you don't know the process through which this has come up, and what kind of training the AI has taken so that they can come up with this answer. Can that answer be a final answer, or there might be other alternative answers to it? They have no clue because they have not gone through this process of thought. Thought process is missing, and that's what exactly happens in the case of people doing the rituals, following rituals. Those who simply say, well, rituals have no meaning, no purpose, this is all hocus pocus, because they don't understand the process itself.
Right, right. It's like a monkey trying to operate an iPhone, basically.
That's right.
Yeah,
I think that's a good analogy.
right.
That's
I
a
want
good
to interject
analogy.
for 1 second, if you allow me. I think we are mischaracterizing Neo-Vedantis. Paramahansa Vivekananda believed in Advaita, but they also believe in Kali. Okay, so there's always a hybrid overlap. So it's not black and white. There's a lot of gray here. Okay, and all the mathas that Adi Shankaracharya developed, there is icon worship. So it's not one or the other. Only way, if you don't like your advantage, talk to them, uh, arguments, debate. That's the only way. Okay, so put your thing forward, and they will convince them. That's all. And I agree with you. Raman Rai was a Christian. He died as a Christian. There is a grave of him outside London. So we all know where he came from, where he ended up. So I have no apologies for him. Well, my thing is to have an argument is great. To win an argument is greater. Let's win the argument. That's all.
Let's continue working together on these kind of ideas that came up, and we are continuous, and some there are some important questions, some important concerns, some what can be done to make things better. That's the question, and that question remains the fundamental question in every field of human experiences. How can we do it better? So let us continue thinking about it. And then, based on that thinking, we should come out of some kind of a mechanism through which we can make it better in terms of its a content, and in terms of it epistemology. It means how do we communicate, how do we uh, rewrite, how do we re-articulate. So all these things come together uh, in order to make things better under the conditions that we have in the contemporary world. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
PUC,
जी
is everything all right?
जी जी. So we should
Okay.
end today's session.
At
जी
your end, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened, here I cannot share with you. Something did not go as smoothly as I would like to, but fortunately enough, you had the slides and I could really get your all the help. Thank you so much for all that.
जी जी जी.
So there was a harmony between my presentation and slide because I could not see your slides.
जी.
Okay.